Knocked out in the last minute of the game. Spurs Eugene strikes again, and it's another campaign and another season with no trophies for Tottenham. That is, of course, unless you believe they may go on to win the English Premier League. City were the best team on the night. They really were. Of course, they had the majority of the shots, and it was 18 shots to 1. They had a fair amount of possession, Tottenham, but they were pretty toothless. They were pretty impotent, flaccid, really poor when it came to creating chances and creating opportunities in the game. And I think everybody will say City deserved the win. But there was large parts of the game where you felt, is the City curse going to continue at the new White Hart Lane? 5 games they've played there, no goals scored. But then Nathan Ake in the dying moments, some poor goalkeeping really from vICAriO. Should have been stronger, should have got a stronger hand on the ball. Slight little nudge from Diaz, but for me, not a foul. And Nathan Ake has scored a number of important goals of late for Manchester City, but they again prove why they are the best team in England, why they are the best team in the world, and they come up trumps. Again, they go through to the next round. It's a big victory as well, because away at Tottenham is one of the hardest games for Manchester City. And I think Spurs will be hugely, hugely disappointing. I'll tell you as to why. I predicted a Spurs win. But what did I say, or how did I say the game would be played? City would probably be the best team. City would have the majority of the ball. City would waste their chances. Spurs would somehow walk away with the victory. Every single element of that happened tonight, barring Tottenham's final ball in and around the box. It was awful. The amount of times Timo Werner was in and they failed to play the ball. The approach play at the edge of the box from Tottenham was an absolute abomination tonight when you consider how good they've been in the attack for large parts of this season. As Postecoglou will be, and rightfully so, fuming with his team because they had opportunities tonight. You could see that nervousness within City, especially as the game went on. There's some really good periods in the game where Spurs had a lot of the ball, where Spurs played some nice football. But when it comes to having that clinical edge, that clutch mentality within a knockout cup game, it just wasn't there for Spurs. And to concede the goal the way they did, considering all the other chances City created and missed, or KDB, the chance he missed, I couldn't believe my eyes. And then for Spurs to go out the way they did, you know, Postecoglou is going to be absolutely fuming. As I say, toothless, flaccid, impotent. It's what I call eunuch football. It really was poor tonight from Tottenham. That's taken nothing away from Man City, who had a lot of opportunities. We know they're the best team in the world. We know how good they are. We know the abundance of quality they have in their team. But they were not of the races tonight. They failed to convert chances a lot of the time without the KDBs on the pitch, without Erling Haaland. A great opportunity for Tottenham to knock out the favourites for the FA Cup. An opportunity to really see themselves go through to that next round. You don't know who you're going to get. Could be some easy ties to the final. You could get another big team at home with an opportunity to knock them out early. But a great opportunity for a trophy for Tottenham goes begging again. Now, I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you feel in relation to this. But what I saw tonight from Spurs is very much they're soft. They're soft insides. They're soft insides, and their lack of ability to get the job done in really big and important games. They just looked, I think they could have played for another 90 minutes and they would never have scored. This is an area that Postecoglou has got to address. This is an area that he has to work on in abundance. This is an area that he has to focus upon improving, because that lack of clinical edge in big games, in cup games, in knockout games has to improve tenfold. No matter how good the football is week in, week out in the Premier League, when it comes to the crunch, they have to get better. They really, really do. And look, I'm not talking like they were playing Nottingham Forest tonight. They were playing Bristol City or Leyton Orient. I understand how good Manchester City are. But I feel like they had opportunities tonight, Spurs. Let me rephrase that. I feel like they had opportunities to create those chances, to put the game, to score the goals. And I think if Spurs go 1-0 up, Man City don't come back. They had a bit of a voodoo, a little bit of a voodoo, hoodoo type bogey feeling about this ground. That's gone now. They've just won there, and I bet they go on to win a lot more from that point. But yeah, disappointing night for them indeed. No buts, Terry. Now, football is all about buts. Football is all about buts. It's all about ifs. It's all about maybes. It's all about hypotheticals. It's all about why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? Why did he do this? Oh, I love that he did that. That is what football conversations have always been about from day one, and that is never going to change. So what is Terry on about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. That you know I'm talking about the fact that City weren't finishing their dinner. This had an opportunity for a smash and grab feel for it from Tottenham, but they lacked that clinical edge. They had the ball in good areas. They had opportunities to feed players in, and they consistently messed that up. When you come up against Man City and they're not firing on all cylinders, you must capitalize. I think if this was a Premier League game, Spurs win. But when it comes down to that clutch, those clutch games, those knockout games, those all-important moments, Spurs will let you down 9 times out of 10, in my opinion. And that is something big that Ange Postecoglou has got to work on. That is what I'm saying. You understand it fully. You know that you do. There we go. This here from Daniel says, that is what I call a domination. City versus Tottenham. They had one shot on target. But that's, do you know what, Daniel? I don't know how much of the game you watched. Being a Chelsea fan, we'll get onto that in a moment. The game wasn't a domination. In terms of shots on goal from both teams, absolutely. And that's, you know, statistics do tell you part of the story. But Spurs had loads of spells in that game where they moved the ball well, where they cut through Man City, and they got the ball into great areas on the edge of the box. They had great counter-attack opportunities, which invariably is how they've beaten Man City. They just didn't play the right final balls. And I think that will upset Ange Postecoglou more, because that's not following through with the system. If you're creating the chances and missing, there's an element there, okay, on another day we might have done it. It was so infuriating to watch. It really was infuriating to watch. So yes, in terms of shots on goal, domination. But in terms of passages of play, the territories of the pitch, the amount of ball being held by Spurs, they weren't dominated in that area. And based on not being dominated, it wasn't like they had 75% of the ball, City. With the amount of ball Spurs had, with the amount of territories that they had good opportunities in, they should have created more shooting opportunities. And that is literally the point I'm making. That lack of cutting edge in these types of games needs to improve. City miss sitters, absolutely IFL. And you're not taking you're not seeing the L here. I'm delivering to Tottenham. You're not getting it. Ding, 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 ding. This was a game where you had to beat City. City weren't taking their chances. They were missing sitters. That's when you take advantage. A game like today, you take advantage of. Because how often is it going to happen that City have these chances and keep missing them? You have to then go and win. They didn't and got punished in the last moment. And by the way, if they'd have drawn, it would have been as bad of a loss, because they're not then going to go to the the Etihad and win. So as I say, this was a match where Spurs weren't the favourites. I still think City are with the bookmakers, but with the hoodoo that City have at this ground, the abundance of chances they missed, the amount of the ball Spurs had in good territories, to walk away losing like this, Big Ash Postecoglou is rightfully going to rip into his team, who tonight were a bunch of eunuchs who could not score, who were flatted. They were floppy. They really, really were. Do me a big favour and hit the like button, please. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Chelsea tonight. Look, I want to speak on Chelsea before we bring out our panel. I thought Chelsea had a good first half. I thought they moved the ball well. The passing was good. They created some really good opportunities in that first half as well. Cole Palmer, probably with the pick of the bunch, Madueke as well. Both should have scored. They didn't. In the second half, Aston Villa were the more dominant side. Again, poor with the finishing, poor in the final third, really, when it comes from Aston Villa. Cole Palmer, again in the second half, having an amazing opportunity to score. I can't believe he didn't take it. Genuinely, I cannot believe he didn't take it. Cole Palmer has been ice cold this year, clinical this season in multiple big games, and he had 2 sitters tonight that should have really given Chelsea a 1-0 and a 2-0 lead. They should be into the 5th round draw, but now they have a very tough away game at Villa Park, which is an absolute fortress this season. So, yeah, listen, And Camber, you can say that I'm waffling. That's not a challenge to what I'm saying. Break it down. Break down what I'm saying and challenge the point. Saying someone's a waffler, you must be 4 years old. That is not how you debunk people. That's not how you debate people. What am I waffling about? Let me know, my friend. Because I'd love to do better for you. I'd love to do better for you. I'd love to expand more. But saying I'm a waffler, come on now, my bro. Sounds to me like your team didn't do very well tonight and you're angry, or you don't think I'm praising your team enough. It's one of those two things, isn't it? I know exactly what it is. I'm too long in the tooth in this game. Let's have a look at some more of these comments here. Chelsea agenda is mad. I don't know what that means, Daniel. You need to expand on that. Again, these comments need to have more to them so I can expand on them. Otherwise, I don't know what you will mean. This here says, City dominated the game, especially the first half, Terry. They took the crowd out of the game. Spurs did much better in the second half. City had a lot more of the ball in the first half, yes. But again, it all depends what you mean by dominating the game. I've seen teams have 60%, 70% of the ball, but most of the opportunities and shots go to the team with less possession. Some people say that the team with the most shots, everyone always goes with the team with the most ball dominated, which is fair. I think in this game, Spurs didn't create chances, but Spurs had opportunities to create those chances and really flopped hard, really, really badly. To say that they didn't have any opportunities or any openings, they got dominated in every area of the pitch, I would say is wrong, because they cut through City at times. They just didn't do anything with the ball. The amount of times they had the ball on the edge of the box and there was a simple ball to be knocked out wide and they overhit it for frozen corners. It's unbelievable tonight. Unbelievable. Young Dan, you got a lot of explaining to do. We were going to win the league. Man City are going to win the league. He's got Debbie, has got young Daniel will be on with us very, very shortly. He is backstage right now. Finally, we score and won. Obviously, a City fan there. You did. You got it done. One chance created. How, Terry? Unbelievable. I don't know how to say this in any. You know exactly how. They lacked a clinical edge with their final ball tonight. That's exactly why. And it would I think if they got dominated where you had 70% of the ball, 80% of the ball, they'd be more annoyed about that. To have that much ball, to have as much ball, especially in the second half that Spurs did against City, and to create diddly squat, you'd be fuming. You'd be absolute. I'd be more angry with that than not having the ball. I really would. But maybe that's me. That is just me. Of course I know my stuff, my friend. Of course I know my stuff. This here says, Spurs are natural born losers. Spurs fans, I don't know how you keep doing it. Another endless trophy season. City Chicken wrapped you and sing we love chicken tonight is what Ace has got to say to everybody here. We have some super chats as well. Z says, am I alone in thinking vICAriO is bang average? Played at left back a lot tonight, though. What's he meant to do from there? I don't know. We broke the voodoo blood. It's funny. I said they had a voodoo there, and a lot of City fans like calling me out like I was chatting rubbish. Of course you had a voodoo there. A voodoo, hoodoo, whatever the word is. We deserve nothing from the game. We were poor for the whole game. Toothless again at the front. You certainly were. The only striker tonight, the attacker, I felt sorry for was Timo Werner. I know he isn't amazing, but the amount of good runs he made and no one even tried to pass to him is just ridiculous. Ridiculous tonight. I agree, Jerome. One, that was a foul. Two, both teams looked really bad. That was not a foul on vICAriO. For me, I normally tweet about controversial decisions. I didn't even see it as that. It's not a foul. vICAriO, goalies can smash through people and get in no trouble. So he's got to be stronger there. He's got to clear his lines. It's on the goalkeeper for me. Another season ended up with nothing. I am so angry with this team. City were there for the taking. I hear you. That was a right kick in the balls. Bet that goal that gets disallowed as soon as well. But the amount of misplaced passes and not playing Werner in, disgraceful. Cal, there's absolutely spot on analysis there, my friend. Absolutely spot on analysis there. It really is, and it's plain for everyone to see. I'm going to bring the panel out now to have their say tonight. We've got Hamza, we've got V, Orchi, We've got Dan Young, Daniel. We've got man like Ziad. Good to see Ziad back on the show. And Arsenal fan Matt is going to join us as well. I wonder why Matt's here. I wonder why Arsenal fans are turning up on this stream. They're probably just gutted that Chelsea didn't go out as well. Then it would have been a double whammy for them tonight. But Spurs fans, I want to ask you this question. Another trophyless season. Yes, it's Man City that have knocked you out, but to go out with a whimper in this way, I need to know how you think, what you think. I need to know what you're feeling right now. I want to welcome the panel back on, everyone. Congratulations to City fans, of course, for your win tonight. But I want to go to young Daniel to begin with and say, young man, out of the other competition that you had a chance of winning this year, what's going through your mind, mate?
It's just gutted, man. And I disagree, Terry, like, respect and everything, but I completely disagree with your take on the vICAriO call. I think 100% it's a foul. But I will say Manchester City did have a lot of chances to score, and we were very fortunate. But I will say, going into this game, I expected it to be like this. I expected Man City to run through us. I expected them to have a lot of chances and for us to get lucky. But that to concede like that, it's like kicking the heart, man. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to react with that. But I think we played very well. I disagree with the fact that we didn't play well. I think we played well. You could see so many times we were playing out of the back under pressure from Manchester City, and we were able to play out of the back like a club that's building. This is what I'm saying. Jurgen Klopp has just announced today that he's going to let go of Liverpool next season. I think today symbolizes the next competition to Manchester City for the Premier League title is Tottenham Hotspur. The fact that we could go toe-to-toe with them for 90 minutes and just concede a last-minute goal like that, it's just heartbreaking. It just shows to you we are Manchester City's next competition. And today it just symbolizes that. Like, take a screenshot of when Ange Postecoglou is hugging Pep Guardiola in the beginning of the game, because that's gonna be like the story for the Premier League for the next 5 years. That competition. But listen,
there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I need to challenge. First of all, we'll come to the vICAriO situation. You've just lost at home to City. No trophies this season again.
Well, we don't know that.
You had one shot on goal, and your reaction to that is we are replacing Liverpool in the Liverpool City rivalry in the Premier League.
Terry, you have to remember, we're going in a game here against the treble winners. These men just came off winning the Champions League. They just came back from winning the Club World Cup. We were out here playing without our main man, by the way, Manchester City's owners. They're on their lot of screws in either Scousi, but the real Manchester City owners, Hyun-Min Son, he weren't here today. And we were playing with Højbjerg in midfield. The guy was a fraud. Did you see him every time the ball came to him? I was like begging, just don't pass him the ball. Every time the ball comes to him, he messes it up. We played Man City until the end of the game, 0-0, without a competent midfielder and without Son. Obviously, we're not going to have a clinical in the final end when we don't have our best attacking player. Madison came on at the end, by the way. We didn't have him for most of the game. We had Kulusevski playing as a cam. Like, we were playing without a lot of players, and we still were able to hold off Manchester City. And I hear that they were playing also without KDB for a long time. Played a lot of the game without Haaland. But still, they are a very good team. And we haven't built a backbone for our team yet. This is just the start of our process. And look how we're able to control City with two of our best players out.
I hear you there. Hamza, I want to come to you. When you watch Spurs tonight, do you feel like this is the beginning of the next big rivalry in English football?
No, not at all. What a joke. No, absolutely no. No way. It can't be, man. It's a laughable thing. Like, no way. They're not our standards. There's no way. They have to first win something like a trophy at least and to come and sit with us. Because they at least have to win at least a Carling Cup or FA Cup. But these guys, I don't believe. You see, the thing is, Tottenham, okay, they're a good team, the way they're playing, but they haven't got that experience to win things. And you haven't even won a single trophy. And you see them, the way that they bottle.
Romero is a World Cup winner, mate.
Yeah, Carling Cup. The Carling Cup, they bottled it against someone knocked them out. I think, who knocked them out in Carling Cup? It was a small team game.
It was Fulham. We were playing our C team.
Fulham, yeah, exactly. Fulham.
I just interject for 1 second. I asked that question because a Spurs fan made the claim.
No chance.
I don't believe it. Like, questions are not an indication of somebody's beliefs, people. Anyway, we move. Keep going, Hamza, please. Sorry, sir.
It's no chance. There's level to this game. I'm sorry.
How about we'll come back to the game. V, how about yourself? I mean, you've heard what Dan's had to say there. I mean, do you get where he's coming from? Do you believe that's the case?
I get where Dan's coming from. It's because it's optimism. Like, he's seeing a lot of positives within his club. And I mean, I'm on the opposite end here with regards to Professor Hamza, because I'm watching what Tottenham's been able to do, what the Spurs have been able to do without winning. Without winning, Look at what Levy's been able to do in terms of financial. They're set. They've got that in place. They've got their manager in place. Now what they need to do is now get the tradition or break that voodoo or hoodoo, whatever, and get a trophy. So if he's looking at the landscape and he's seeing Klopp is gone next season, I'm probably not rating Arteta. I'm probably not rating Eric Ten Hag, whether he's going to be here or not. I'll take my chances against Unai Emery. If he's looking at the landscape, I can understand his optimism. But to say that he's going to be there with City, I disagree with. But to say that he's going to now separate himself from the pack, yeah, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
So who do you see as your competition? Because Liverpool's coming off like your race now. Who do you see as that person that's going to compete with you for the next couple of years?
Yeah, but you don't know that, Dan.
Now that they're just going to fall off.
How about Liverpool get a better manager? How about Liverpool get actually a good manager? How about that one?
But it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time for them to build something, unless it's
not. It won't take time. Dan. Liverpool have already got something built. There's no rebuild at Liverpool with a new manager. It's a new manager who's going to come in.
You can't do that.
No, that's how
you can't bring somebody else, another manager, and then just
hang on. I'm really sorry to say this. This is how clubs are structured these days. It's why Man United fans have been screwing for a decade, saying, why do we keep doing manager projects rather than the club having an ethos and a philosophy, and you just bring managers in like Real Madrid, like Bayern Munich, like Ajax at a smaller level, like Brighton, by the way. Brighton only hire a specific type of manager. City are not going to go from Pep Guardiola to a Conte and do a whole new rebuild of a 23-man squad over a 3-year period. It will be somebody, never as good as Pep, that will pick up and be similar to Pep in multiple ways, so you don't have to rejuvenate everything. That's what a rebuild is. You rebuild when you're bad, you build a foundation, and then you just add to it each time. This idea that Liverpool are going to have to suddenly go for a 4-year rebuild when Klopp leaves, don't kid yourself. That's not what Liverpool are going to do. They're not going to do that.
The only thing is, I think a whole bunch of the backroom stuff is going as well. So I think that's the only maybe like at the end of
his coaching staff are all going, because in 6 months to a year,
isn't the guy York something is going?
But but he's part of Klopp's team, right? Klopp's team are going because they're going to take over another club or international team at some point, right? So of course they're all leaving. I want to get back to the game for a minute. A lot of Spurs fans are saying they were robbed. Young Daniel has said it. I need to ask you, Young Daniel, and then I'm going to go to Watchy, then the City boys. We're obviously going to talk Chelsea as well. Why do you think you were robbed, and why do you think it was a foul on Vicario?
I think you can see. I forgot the player that was in front of vICAriO. I think it was Kyle Walker. Was it Kyle Walker?
Diaz.
Diaz. Diaz he had fallen, and vICAriO was trying to get up, and you could see that in front of him, he has Diaz stood in front of him that's blocking him from standing up. I understand that goalkeepers come out and sometimes they'll hit a player and they'll get away with it. I'm actually from the group that disagrees with that, and I think goalkeepers should be getting punished for things like that. So I think that goes out of the picture, because I don't think 2 wrongs should make a right. I mean, 2 wrongs should make a right. I think in those situations, you're blocking the goalkeeper from getting up and doing his job of saving the ball. It's very similar to the Kanji one on Alisson. And I think genuinely, I don't know what you see there. You have Diaz stood in front of you. You're trying to get up, and he's stopping you from getting up. Then they get the scrappy touch into the back of the net, and they go off to celebrate. vICAriO can't do anything from there. He's getting blocked off from standing up from Diaz, and that should be a foul for me.
How about yourself, Watchy? Do you think that was a foul at the end? Do you think that Spurs were hard done by with that decision?
I don't know, mate. Yeah, I think it's 50-50. I think if it was given, fair enough. But if it's not given, I don't feel as strongly about it. I just feel that tonight it was a really below par performance. I was really the only person that I could certainly after the game can held his head up high is Mickey van der Ven. He was absolutely immense tonight. Some of the blocks, some of the things that he did. I think he's the only one. I thought even like Romero was a bit poor. Udogie was all over the place. Højbjerg, just don't even get me started on him. Again, Brennan Johnson, just everyone really. Kulusevski couldn't really do much. What's his name? Richarlison had another poor game for me. I think most of the team had a really poor game for me. I think we definitely missed. I agree with Dan. I think we definitely missed Son. We missed Bissouma. I think if we had Bissouma and Sarr in that midfield together with Bentancur, we probably would have done a lot more better today, even if we didn't have Son. I just think we didn't deserve it. I mean, we might have just scraped a draw and maybe a replay, but just overall, I thought it was a poor performance. Yeah, in the second half, we had some chances. We had a nice, but first half, it was all City. And I was just really disappointed. I was really frustrated. Fair enough, Maddison, it's his first game back. But I thought, he brought him on way too late as well. I think I have to ask him. I love Ange, I'm not criticizing him. But sometimes I do, sometimes he waits a really long time. He makes his substitutions really late in the game. And I thought, he could have brought on Maddison a bit more earlier, mix things up a little bit. I wanted to see more from Spurs today, and I feel a little bit cheated. I feel a bit disappointed, to be honest. But Mickey van der Ven, what a defender. Love him.
So did you come into this game expecting to dominate City?
You're at home, Dan. We're at home. We should have done more. We should have done more because City weren't exactly full. They had players missing as well. They have Haaland missing, and they've got KDB, who also was on the bench. I just expected more. I think first half we really didn't get a sniff at all. First half was just, but second half, yeah, we started better. We actually started doing things well, but there was just too many below par performances today for me.
I hear you on that. From your point of view, Hamza, did you think it was a foul? Do you understand where Spurs fans are coming from with that goal?
It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a foul completely. He went to try and catch the ball. He just left the ball there. It's a joke. They say it's a basic thing if you've been a goalkeeper. When you come out, you have to make sure you either punch the ball out or you catch the ball. You can't just flop it out. And I think that was a fair goal. It was not clear it's going to be a foul. If that would have been a foul, that would have been the biggest joke ever. That was a fair goal. He flopped it. vICAriO. Spurs fans just don't want to blame vICAriO because they've been adding him as one of the best keepers in the Premier League. If not the best Premier League keeper. But now because
so far he has been though. It's just one. Okay, even if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. But
it's not even a mistake.
But I think you're lucky. You're lucky that we didn't beat you more than 1-0 because I believe we dominated that game. I believe we had 15 shots. You had probably 1, and we had 12 corners. You had 2. Yeah, you didn't come out your box. Okay, fair enough.
Højbjerg nearly gifted you 2.
You're 12 minutes
in the second half. Højbjerg nearly gifted you 2.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We had chances, and at one point Bernardo had a chance. KDB had an empty chance. Foden had a chance, and literally it was coming. People were saying that before the game that Tottenham is our boogie team, and if you look at all the goals, sometimes they beat us. Sometimes they've been lucky, yeah. And this year, I'm just so happy that at least we scored there. I think that boogie team, that theory of boogie team is done. It's ousted now anymore. And I think now we got the win. And the key thing is we move on from this. And City didn't concede. Absolutely up. The impeccable performance goes to Kovacic. I am so shocked that Chelsea lost it. We bought him for 20 million. Today, I'm so surprised that Ake got that man of the match. Kovacic ran that show. Ahead of KDB, ahead of Rodri, ahead of all our players. Kovacic, fantastic. The last couple of games, if you want be watching City, Kovacic has raised his level that even Chelsea fans are asking me. We've never seen him play like that for Chelsea. He was absolutely amazing. He was driving the ball.
You are such a fraud, man. 3 weeks ago,
what are you talking about, bruv?
You're such a fraud.
Kovacic.
Hamza's not wrong.
You called him a
genuinely brilliant that game.
Ago. He called
him runs.
I'll come back to you in a minute. V, just I don't want to go off this vICAriO situation. A lot of Spurs fans online. I've seen a lot of Man United fans as well. Mark Goldbridge and the like. I think reading this here saying it was a foul. VAR should have intervened. My boy Kaz is saying it. Do you feel that you got a lucky one tonight and that Spurs, got a little robbed?
I don't know. If they're gonna look at this goal and say it's a foul, it's so inconsistent, man. I don't know how to judge it. I'm watching it real time. I watched it in slow-mo, and I didn't think there was enough there for it to be a foul. I didn't even think there was enough there to be a foul when they called off the goal against Alisson when we played Liverpool early in the season. But there you go. We played well enough to win that game. I think Spurs are probably feeling like they were done wrong because let's play an extended game. Let's play at the Etihad and see what happens. But that game today, we deserve to win it. And I think that goal That goal was a result of the constant pressure we were putting them under. And if it's going to be another soft keeper can't be touched call, then what's happening to this game? Really, what's happening to this game if that's going to be a foul?
I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Z, obviously, I know you're from a Chelsea fan's point of view, but I assume you were watching the last 15 minutes of the game fully because the Spurs game finished. The Chelsea game finished, which we will touch on. Do you think Spurs fans have got a case here?
I don't think Spurs fans have got a case for anything, man. I'm coming on. Spurs saying they're the next Liverpool. You know, they're going to challenge Liverpool. They're going to challenge for the league. We should dominate City. Give it a rest, man. Understand your place. Know your role, man.
Nobody said that, Ziad.
No, Jacob, Jacob, allow it, man. Jacob, no, I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
I'm not going to allow absolute lies. No one said that. No one said all those three things you just said. Nobody said that.
Brother just said we're going to be replacing Liverpool.
No, Jacob, Dan did say it. Dan did say it on the street.
Dan, why'd you do that?
Wait, I didn't say we're going to dominate.
This Ange Postecoglou, whatever the guy's name is, coming here saying, yes, mate, we're going to be the next Tottenham. We're doing well. Listen, you're going to continue to be the irrelevant club. Not going to win any trophies. You're going to be in the shadow of Chelsea. You're not going to run. You're never going to run London. You're never going to run your side of London. None of it. Okay. Understand your role.
Are we talking about today, or are we talking about your Wikipedia page?
Guys, just let Z finish.
Bro, listen, at the end of the day, my eyes weren't on the Chelsea game. The last 15 minutes that I saw, City were always taking control. I actually thought Tottenham defended well for the whole game. Even the little glimpses that I saw, they're defending, bro. Reminded me of fucking, I don't know what, bro. Prime Chelsea, the way the Tottenham players were flying there and blocking every shot. But listen, at the end of the day, City were always going to win. They're the better team on paper, better team, better manager. Tottenham, listen, history of your club, and yeah, man, that's it. But Man City deserved that goal. vICAriO came, he tried to collect it, he dropped the ball, then he fell. If you're gonna jump up for the ball and try to claim it, you've got to claim it, right? So, and he didn't.
Terry, can I say something?
Yeah, of course you can.
If you're gonna know, you say know your place as a Chelsea fan, you should know your place. Mid-table, that's your place. And just own up to it. Your place is mid-table.
But no one cares about the table. Own your place. History is talk. We're talking about history. I'm not talking about know your place.
We're talking right now. You're saying know your place. Know your place.
Know your place as a club. Know your place as a club. We're talking about as a club, as a whole business. Know your place.
We're building to become a winning club.
When I say know your place, you can't sit here and say you're going to claim to be the next Liverpool. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, bro. That's embarrassing. Tottenham the next Liverpool. That's embarrassing. You've seen no insight of that. That's not optimistic. That's delusional. Come on, man. Let's be real here, man.
Explain to me why that's delusional.
Because like I said, Liverpool are going to come in. They're going to bring a better manager.
You have nothing to back that up. You have nothing to back up your statement. No, you don't. You have nothing to back up your statement.
Let's look at the Premier
League. I know Jacob is shameless, and he wouldn't even say that. What you said.
A manager that can't even get you to a semi-final or final of the cup. Pochettino, that the whole Chelsea fan base won out of the bloody club, is already in a final, and Chelsea fans still want him out. But your Ange Postecoglou, the guy who's supposed to be so great, can't even get into a final. Lost to Fulham.
We're building a process. We're building a process.
The process. When Chelsea are in the process, we win trophies. What are you talking about?
Come
on, man.
You're not going to win any this season. You're not going to win any.
Are you sure?
You haven't done a process. How many years have you not done a process?
What do you mean we're not going to win a trophy? Win a final. What final are you in?
I'm curious. Are we talking about the matches today? Are we talking about his?
I want to go to Jacob here because the talking point we actually are on is the foul on vICAriO. Dan and a lot of Spurs fans are claiming they were robbed. It shouldn't have been a goal. What's your take on it, brother?
My take is that is just as much a foul, if it is one at all, as the other 3-4 corners prior, where is the same thing. Ruben Diaz pushing up against him. Look, for me as a goalkeeper, I would be stronger in that moment to push that man off, but it had been happening all match. It wasn't the first one. So I think to sit there and say like, oh, this one specifically because they actually scored, that's just not really fair to the argument of what happened in the match. Because honestly, to me, not strong enough to be. It didn't disrupt vICAriO enough. You got to be stronger in that moment. Again, it had been repeatedly happening and it wasn't called a foul. So why would you then allow yourself to play soft in that moment? That's my take on it. I don't think it's a foul. I hate leaving anything into the ref to give them credit or to blame them. I think is giving them more actions to do than actually just looking at the game and saying we had one shot the entire 90 minutes. That's not good enough. I don't care who you're playing. If it's the eventual Premier League champions, treble winners, Manchester United, Luton, that's not enough. I know we had one shot on target and 2 goals versus Palace, and that was barely enough to beat a horrible Crystal Palace side. So again, when we look at the way we performed in that 90, just not good enough. It's not good enough. And to expect, oh, well, this call didn't go our way, so therefore we were robbed. I think that's an easy way out. I think it would be better served if we looked at what happened in those 90 minutes, what players let us down in these. And Terry, I heard you say something at the beginning of your show, which was, I agree with Timo Werner, as frustrating and awful of a player as he is, he can only make runs, and you either pass it to him or you don't. And at a certain point, when he's not getting that service, and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is our most creative player in the first 45, there is a clear problem with what we were doing. I thought from a passing standpoint, we were pretty awful as well. In the first half, we couldn't even string, I think, 3 passes together. The City's press showed to be too much for us to handle, and we were on our back foot from the beginning of that match. Now, the second half, we did look a little bit better, but again, you got to look a little bit better, but put something on it. You can't just look better and hope that things look, because again, one shot on target, one shot, just not good enough. You're always going to struggle to win those games, and this is a game where you do have to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more, Jacob. I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't think it was a foul on vICAriO at all, and creating one chance. And the Werner stuff, I see a few people in the comments say it. I've seen people on Twitter say, yeah, but the players obviously don't trust him. But it's not the decision to make. You make the right pass. If Werner then messes up, he'll take the blame for it. You can't not give him the ball because he might make a mistake. That's like saying, well, Richarlison's missed a lot of chances today. You have a chance to win in the last minute, but you don't square it to him in case he misses again. The logic just doesn't work in reality. And, Spurs had so many good moments in this game where they had great territory, they had the ball in good areas, but that final ball was just horrendous today. And Spurs have to look at themselves for that. Absolutely no end. Si's here with Si's a City fan. What you saying, bro?
I'm happy, really happy. This game was more than just tonight. The game in, I think it's April, we're going there again in the league, and this were like a gateway for that game. I was just happy before the game if we scored today, and I think we did really well. Still had 4 starters, like normal starters, not playing. Dominated for large periods of the game, and did think we should have buried the game several times during the 90 minutes, but we controlled their attack. Granted that they lacked some of their offensive players, but I think it was overall a good performance. I'm just happy we scored. Getting a win and qualifying for the next stage of the cup is amazing. So yeah, overjoyed.
Absolutely. And V, obviously we haven't really spoken about City struggling to score at Tottenham, and that's been an ongoing thing. That the miss from KDB, I couldn't believe it. But how impressed were you with your performance tonight? You go through to that next round, and again, still on for winning, retaining your treble.
Terry, don't say that word right now. It's one game at a time. The performance, man. The performance at the beginning, I was really happy with. The first 15, 20 minutes, the players showed that they were on. The players knew what they want to do, how they want to apply it. I was really happy with it. But there was a stretch. I'm not going to lie. We're getting to the 80th minute, and I'm getting antsy because we're not scoring. We got a call disallowed in the first half, but we're not scoring. KDB's going wide and clear open, getting that ball. It's one of those venues where I'm like, I don't think we'll ever be comfortable. And again, this wasn't league game. So to get the 1-0 to move on, fantastic. I'm happy for that because it keeps us in the mix, because we can't allow Klopp to do what he's trying to do on his exit out of the league. But this game in particular, I don't think we've shooken off that Spurs jinx. I think it's still there. We need to show that we can score goals and not have it go late to the late 80th to score. But I'm happy with the win. What do they call it? The mini quad that Liverpool are on. We have a chance to disrupt
baby
quad. So yeah, I'm happy that we advance on.
Absolutely, and I get that. I want to go to some of these super chats here. Ray says Spurs being Spurs, win games early in the season, big revolution, then it all goes to crap.
Wait,
It's not
sorry,
all. It's not all going to crap. By
yeah.
the way.
Okay.
It's not.
Losing one FA Cup game doesn't mean everything goes to crap. Do you know that means nothing to the Premier League? Like I saw somebody that said the title race and laughing at me for the title race. You know we don't lose points for this, right? This is just an FA Cup game, and it's gone to me. This is a big chance to win a trophy. It's gone, but that's nothing to do with the Premier League. How is the season done? This is the delusion against Tottenham.
Well, you're gonna win the league.
No, you can get top 4, of course.
I think we're definitely like in the race to be up in like for third and second. I already said many times I don't think we're
third and second is
But
irrelevant.
this
You're
is
gonna
a
win the
take
league.
on an. This is the take on
That was a long
the
answer.
immediate.
I don't think we will.
This
So your
super
season's
chat
over
is a
then.
take on what the immediate is. Whereas if thank you for putting it back up, like it doesn't all go to crap based on one single loss. Like that's like everyone throwing their toys out the pram with Ange Postecoglou when we lost to Fulham. Look, did anyone realistically think that in the first season we would look already so much different than we used to? Because I didn't. And for me, a big revolution, first you have to start before you can say you're having this revolution or some kind of rebuild. And again, big picture, it's not all going to crap. We still have Ainge for another 3.5 years to continue building and hopefully see some success, which is the end goal. But I don't think anyone in Tottenham really thought that, we're absolutely going to go for all three competitions.
I want to read you
in the
guys a
first
quote
season.
here. I want to read
He
you
is a
guys
Liverpool fan.
I want to read you guys a quote here. Now, for full disclosure, this comes from Samuel Luckhurst, who is he's a Manchester-based journalist, and he's always been he's a City guy, right? He's a City guy more so than the Man United guy. He hates my club loads. But he says here, Postecoglou has been a shrewd appointment and is doing a brilliant job at Spurs. Top 5 would be really good going. But I have never known a club get so prematurely overhyped. 2 League Cups to show for the last 30 years and more than 16 years without a trophy. Spurs fans, do you feel like this is just a typical pile-on for Tottenham because you've gone out of another tournament, or do you think that type of criticism is fair?
It's not.
I think
there's
it's
truth
just
in
another
both.
pile-on.
I think there's truth in both, personally. I think there's truth in the fact that, yes, we do get a little bit overexcited when we see things that are starting to look nice. We're like, wow, this could be this. And we start to dream, and that's the whole motto. So I agree with that on one hand, but it is also a little bit of, that's what media loves to do. Build up this, Ange Postecoglou, this guy everyone slept on. Look at how good he's doing. First 10 games. Build him up and up and up. And then as soon as you have your first little wavering moment of result, guess what? Now we're going to tear him down. Now he's inexperienced. Now he's naive. Now and you keep hearing it throughout, since the Chelsea match. But to me, none of that really affects how I see it or how I think of Ange Postecoglou, because I see what he's doing with this club. I see the difference in the way we are. And let's look at it. We needed a lot of deadwood to get out of this club, and we've started that. We started bringing in some new pieces. Are those pieces the greatest? No. Are they the first choice of mine? No. But you can still see what's happening here. And again, I know people, they love the old, shoe that feels the nicest, right? Oh, Tottenham, what have they won? Wara trophy. They can keep looking at their Wikipedia page, but quite frankly, that don't mean nothing to Tottenham Hotspur and to Ange Postecoglou, because to me, I'm judging us based on how we've been doing since Ange has been appointed. What's happened in the past is in the past. I can only be so mad at that for so long, but I'm a human who can move on emotionally. So I do see it as like, look, I can see what he's doing here. The media is going to say what they're going to say. It doesn't matter who it is. You're doing good, they're going to love on you. You're doing bad, they're going to hate on you. That's just the name of the game.
When do you guys get out of the honeymoon phase and start putting pressure on him?
Next season.
After next summer. Yeah,
Fine.
after next summer.
That's all I need.
I think next season, that's 3 windows that he will have had at the end of next summer to say, hey, you've had your guys coming in, our losers leaving. Now let's see what you can do. And if we're continuing to get knocked out first round versus Fulham, second round for us versus City, then again, regardless of opponent, I don't want to go out that early. So to me, the onus is on him to get this right after he has some time to get some players in. Now it's also up to us to get the right players. And by all intents and purposes, Daniel Levy has put people in between him and Ange Postecoglou making those decisions. Scott Munn, Johan Lange, I think this dude whose last name is Anderson something, who works for Johan Lange. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's at least 3 names I could throw in between Daniel Levy and Ange Postecoglou when it comes to who we sign. So again, at the end of next summer is when I'll really start saying, now the pressure's on you, Ange. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah, 100%.
Plus, I mean, this whole notion that Spurs are the most overhyped team in the last 30 years, fair enough, but certainly in the last 10 years, you cannot. I don't think that you can say that, because obviously we know the Poch era, and at Poch era we got so close. We came second pretty much, to Leicester. We ended up in a Champions League final. There was definitely progress, and we had some fantastic players. We were playing some fantastic ball, and we know why that went wrong, because Levy didn't back Poch. And then it all went to pot again because Levy tried to buy some success by bringing managers like Mourinho and Conte. But then, you bring those kind of managers in, you've got to go out and spend £300 million to, try to buy the players that are instantly going to win trophies. And he didn't do that. We know that's not how Daniel Levy operates. So now he's back to the way that,
I do get it. Where I will agree with elements of what Samuel Luckhurst has said is, you're not little old Spurs anymore. You're the wealthiest club in London. Forget owners. We're talking the way football's actually worked on profit and sustainability. Your turnover is higher than Chelsea's. You make more money than Arsenal now. You're not little old Spurs. You have to be judged. Maybe not year one with a new manager, but you've got to be judged on the trophies that you win at the end of the day. And I think where people come from is they see Spurs as one of the richest clubs in Europe who have had some really good teams in recent years. And this is genuinely, I see this as a Man United fan. No matter what happens, you don't win anything, but yet you get more praise than other clubs who have maybe won 2, 3, 4, 5 trophies in the last 5, 6 years, and they get absolutely slated. I'm not going to name them because people get all funny about it, but they get absolutely slated for not winning. You had a team like Arsenal last year that missed out on the title to one of the greatest teams ever by 5 points, and they got slagged off. Spurs will come 5th this year and get more praise than Arsenal coming 2nd. And that's not different. It's different. It's different if you want your club to be looked at as a small club. You're either a small club or you're with the big boys. You can't have it both ways.
You can't compare that. No, Terry. You can't compare that. They were top of the league for 95% of the season. You can't.
Okay. So what's better? Being top of the league for 95%?
I'm not saying it's better.
Wait a second. What's better? Being top of the league for 95% of the season and then missing out, or being 5th in the league? What would you rather your team be? Capable of being in the title race or being 5th?
I'll obviously be capable of winning the title race, but you have to put into perspective of what we're building. This is the first year of a process. I would rather be in the stance of a Tottenham fan than an Arsenal fan.
Dan, but I already said that in the beginning of what I said. I'm just saying that I said I agree with elements of what Samuel Luckhurst has said. Sometimes Spurs fans talk about themselves as plucky little Spurs. I think you're now the 5th richest club in the world. You're not small. You should be judged as that. You can't be judged like Brighton. Yeah, you've moved into that. You moved into that space.
I think what you have to say, Terry, is to judge them as the wealthiest. We can only do that if the ownership backs them. So we can only judge them on that.
Yeah, I did these numbers. You actually look at their number again, though. This is the thing. Some clubs go under the. I had a West Ham fan call me out in the summer about how much Ten Hag has spent, and I'm not defending Ten Hag here. So I was chatting to him. When we went through it together, his club in that same period only spent 45 million less. And he was like, oh, bloody hell, I didn't even know that. I said, of course you don't, because nobody talks about it. But I do hear where you're coming from there. There's just some more of these super chats. Hamza, don't talk about standards when your team is about to lose all their trophies for cheating.
116.
That's actually funny. Love you, Jerome. N here says, sacked Jose before a final, trophy loss Hotspur then, now, forever. Love the optimism from young Dan. You need to feel you need to feel heartbroken later, is what's said there. Delusional Spurs fans as usual. Can you try to win something first before you try going after City? Beating City doesn't mean you are close. One shot in 90 minutes, is what's been said here. Spurs competed the holy trinity of bottled the EFL Cup, the FA Cup, and bottled the lead in the Premier League in October. Spurs getting lost tonight. Donna Burf says, stop talking about players Spurs didn't have. City didn't have Haaland and KDB for most of the game. Stop kidding ourselves. Spurs ain't challenging.
They didn't even play Edison.
Can we stop with this narrative every time Tottenham lose a damn game? It's, oh yeah, they bottled it. It's actually getting boring now. Because we went into this game against the treble winners. We lost by 1 goal, a scrappy goal in the last minute, and you're saying we bottled it? And then they're saying we bottled the Premier League. It's laughable at this point. It's laughable at this point. If you're gonna say we bottled the Premier League, then you have to say we're in the title contenders. You can't have it both ways. Say that we're not title contenders, and then we bottled the league. they're just making up stuff to make themselves feel better because they know it's probably an Arsenal fan who's making himself feel better from bottling everything.
And the birth's the name. Speaking of Chelsea tonight, Ziad, are you still there? I don't need to turn your camera off. What did you make of? I'll go to Winter Surfer first until I know you're back. But what did you make of Chelsea tonight? Pretty wasteful in the first half, and just the game kind of petered away.
Yeah, totally agree. First half, we had all those chances and didn't capitalise on them. And then I think Tuesday caught up with us, and we sort of just went backwards and backwards. Subs could have been the only criticism Poch I have is that the subs could have been a bit faster. I thought could have changed them a bit, but yeah, Cole Palmer, as much praised him, criticised him tonight because he should have scored, and Nano Medvedev should have scored as well. And actually, in the end, Petrovic stepped up with a couple of very good saves. But you know, we'll move on. Got Villa next. I don't think Villa wanted. I think we're probably happy with it. If you had to give us a replay, we're probably happier with it. The way Villa are going, especially in Europe and in the league themselves, because they're in the title race. So yeah, it's just the same old issues again, Terry. It's the 5, 6 years, 5, 6, 7 year issue of our players not taking the chances when they create them all that is given to them. And,
your goalkeeper looks promising, by the way, like he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't really have a lot, nothing to do in the first half, I think, or one shot where he easily tipped over. But yeah, that shot Matty, he saved from Matty Cash was very good. But yeah, just slightly disappointing. We should have really buried them in the first half. I don't know if Ziad agrees or disagrees, but we should have buried them in the first half, definitely. We were better in the first half and better for about 65 minutes.
I wanted to ask you both about this and jump to Ziad on this. I mean, Cole Palmer probably missed the 2, Madueke as well, but Cole Palmer had 2 chances that you'd expect him to have done so much better with, where the ball was basically twice in the game, passed to him 7, 8 yards out. He should be scoring, really, shouldn't he?
Yeah, very annoying, very annoying. Listen, Palmer's been our best player this season, and I don't know what happens to him when he plays in the false 9 or he gets the pressure of having to score goals. Because he had the same against Middlesbrough in the first leg. He was the main focal point. He was the person that we were relying on to get the goals, and he fumbled it even in the that game. So that's 2 games now he's played in that position and he's missed easy chances. And it's not good enough because at the start of the game, I said, look, I don't give a shit about performance. I don't care how we play. I just want the result. I just want to get through the next round and move on. End of the day, it's the FA Cup. It's a cup competition. It's still early in the FA Cup. Aston Villa are a good side. Just get on with the win, and we're on to the next team. But that's why today I have to blame the players more than blame the manager. Manager, of course, annoyed me because second half I don't know what the hell we were doing. His substitutions made no sense. Even the start lineup, I don't know why he didn't start a striker. But I'm sorry, the missed chances are unexcusable. Unexcusable. I'm sorry. Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer on multiple occasions. But yeah, the way we were playing first half, I thought after the first 10 minutes, we were quite good. I've never seen us move the ball so quick this whole season. Like, apart from the start of the season, I think that's the best we've played in a long time. We moved the ball well. Everyone knew what they were doing. Off the ball runs, 1-2 touch football. We're literally moving the ball very quick. Always progressing the ball forward as well, picking out the right passes. And I was like, you know what? We might have done doing well going into second half. Second half, we go terrible. I don't understand what happened second half.
That team, Villa had 12 days off, but we look like the team that had 12 days off.
We look shattered.
And then in the 65th minute on, I think it really caught up with us. But I think Ziad's right. I mean, if we play like that, you can honestly see what the difference is. It's a finisher.
Yeah,
it's a finisher. That's what my case is. That I want to see more performances like that, because then I can go, well, it's not. It's little criticism of the manager, maybe the subs a bit earlier, like that. But if we do that, then we are literally only saying you bring in a quality finisher, not like remove the buzzwords world class or elite, but a quality finisher to mop up those chances that make it go from a 0-0 to a 1-0 or 2-0, and then that's all we needed. And I'm not even saying sign him, but if you had someone, even the likes of a Solanke, Callum Wilson, or something like that, they mop up those chances, they finish them like that, and we're into the next round. We're 2-0 up and we're cruising for that entire second half. Because Villa really didn't do anything until the 65th minute onwards. So
but even Broja, Andrew,
maybe
the way we were playing suited the striker.
We had to admit, and you had to admit, and like you said, even without a striker, there's no way Madueke and Palmer should be burying those chances
Yeah,
with or
100%,
without a striker.
100%.
There's no excuse.
This is why you can criticize both, and I've criticized the manager over the past more than the players. But today, solely because it is a cup competition, and I did say before the game, I just win and get on with it. I've got to blame the players more than I do the manager.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought, your players just died a death in that second half. Really, they didn't.
I think Tuesday caught up with them.
Yeah, Tuesday, Friday, hard thing to do. Really and truly.
Stupid scheduling.
Tough. Again, what's stupid is there's none of the big teams playing tomorrow. It doesn't even make.
We weren't even on telly in the UK. We weren't even on telly in the UK.
Well, I got my Satanta Sport link up, and they've added something new to that now as well. You can do multi-screen, so 3 o'clock games. It does it all for you. They'll put 3 or 4 up at the same time because you can only watch one stream at a time. I'm buzzing. I don't. People they've got to use that, but it's $2.99 a month as well. And you get every and I've worked out different countries in sort of Eastern Europe get different things. So if you do it in Moldova, you don't get the Liga. But if you do it in the Ukraine, you do. So you basically get every single league of football legally streaming $2.99 a month using a VPN. Big up Nord. But yeah, look, I thought you guys that it's going to be tough though the second leg because they're very good at home now, Villa, and I think that's if I was it was a bit like with Spurs. They grabbed that draw at the end. Well done for drawing, but then you go into the Etihad, you're probably going to lose. Similar for yourselves as well.
But maybe we get a couple of players back, like an Nkunku Augusto or something like that. Add a little into the mix. Maybe a bit change. Maybe he starts with Burrow up front and it all changes. I think us going away will suit this team's mentality at the moment of not being favourites to win the game. I think they like that more than being favourites to win it. So it might help them. But like I said, I think playing Palmer in the 9, the false 9, I don't think that's best for him. I think like in the long run. But like I said, he should have finished no matter what. No matter where he's playing tonight, he should have finished those chances.
I think I felt like he feels the pressure too much when he's playing.
No, I just think it comes. Listen, we praised him. We praised him the other night. It's fair to criticise him tonight, no matter what his age is or something like that. He still should have done better with those chances. At least he should have buried at least one of them. Definitely. Yeah. Even in the second half, he got the ball to him, and he tried to hit it on the volley straight away or something, or tried to trap it. It was a weird thing, but like I said, it's one of the learning things, and we'll have to move up. We'll have to move on from there and hopefully get through to the next round because, like I said, Spurs are out now. I wanted them to go through because they want City really to go through. And hopefully Liverpool get through and they draw each other in the next round and we can get through. So,
Terry, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go on, bro.
So I watched a video of Arsenal complaining to the PGMOL about the treatment of Bukayo Saka.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the treatment of Richarlison today? Because this guy was getting fouled constantly. I think he was the most fouled player on the pitch by far. And every time it would be like somebody would slap him or something. Somebody would push him. The referee would just give a yellow card. But at one point, that has to be investigated into the treatment of Richarlison in this game. And I get sometimes you can get under people's skin, but that's unacceptable.
So was that one game?
I look at it this way. I think to myself, if Spurs feel that way, then you should do everything in your power to try and gain an advantage your way. Sir Alex was an absolute master of getting either via influencing them in a positive or sometimes in a negative way. But you used to get into the FA. Jurgen Klopp has done it before. Man United were winning an abundance of penalties, rightfully so. Klopp complains how many penalties we get, and I think for the next 18 months we won 2. You've got to do something about it if that's what you personally think. I will say about Richarlison though. Richarlison is the kind of character that I think's in a lot of people, so he gets a lot of retaliation back, which doesn't help. I didn't necessarily think it was that bad. But
basically one player.
I get where you're coming from. Now, I've got something to tell you guys. The difference in spending between Spurs and Manchester United in the last 4 years combined, £27 million more spent by Man United.
But Terry, let me tell you something.
You see my point? But there isn't. What do you want to tell me about that?
We spend a lot of money, but it's in stupid ways. We spent 60 million on Dembele.
And we didn't drop £90 million on Anthony. So again, you're not listening to my point here, right? That wasn't going to be my point.
Go on.
Some clubs spend a lot of money and no one really knows they do because nobody's talking about it. Now, that doesn't mean Man United have spent well. But this idea of our Spurs don't really spend. to only have spent £27 million less than Man United, by the way, who have wasted exorbitant amounts of money on bang average players, by the way. If we'd have actually had our heads on and spent properly, you could probably wipe £150 million off our bill if we'd have actually spent the right amount of money on people. So, like I said earlier, Spurs, I get year one, but Spurs spend big money. Spurs are a big club, and you will be judged as one. And that's I don't really feel like I'm digging you out. I feel like I'm praising you here. I'm saying you're a big club.
I thought you were saying giving praise to Levy. That's why I understood it.
No. I'm not saying you spent it well. I'm saying though it's there. People that go, we don't spend. We're not Man United. Imagine spending only £27 million. And by the way, in 2024, that's like half a good player. So I've got a few more super chats before the end of the show here. This says we came second. Pretty much to Leicester when you came third. Most Spursy statement of all time.
When did I say that? You see, you know they're rattled when they start making up quotes. Because I never said that at any point.
Debbie here says, you know what, sad Jacob, your Cowboys or your Spurs. The Cowboys doing bad? I don't know. Thank you.
The Dallas Cowboys are they're the most overrated.
There we go. It was a double foul. Diaz pushed vICAriO standing, and then whilst he was on the ground, Liverpool would get it. Werner is so quick. Our midfield is slow.
I do think if that was in Europe, that would have been given as a foul in Europe. I just think it would have, because they protect the goalkeepers like they're children. Do you know what I mean? I think they would give that in Europe. I don't think it was. Well, either way, I just think it was. You couldn't really complain either way, really. But in Europe, I think they would definitely give that as a foul.
This here says Bottleham hot spuds is what Gary the Lion says.
Fake narrative. It's a fake narrative. It's a fake narrative.
Chelsea game wasn't on TV. DM, I watched. Yeah, listen again. Man, like Tanner, legal streaming, use a VPN, get it done. None of that Fire Sticks. People are going to prison for that Fire Stick stuff. Stop doing it. Just use a VPN. Use a VPN.
That's why I watched the game.
It's crazy. Again, by the way, everything's so much cheaper outside the UK. Can't believe it. It's just we're partners still with NordVPN. Genuinely, I do that, and then I've got another app I use, which is out of India, which is where I get all my movies and stuff. And it's all legal. It's just change your geolocation, and you pay. It's literally I buy the app in the app store. It's like all legit. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, everyone who's tuned in, I want to thank you all very, very much. It's been a mad day today. I didn't expect to be so busy, but Jurgen Klopp handing in his resignation, and I'm disappointed. The two biggest games of the weekend are on the Friday night. One flop, the other one, both on at the same time as well. Crazy. Listen, hit the like button before you leave. Please subscribe. Until next time, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all.